don't want to hear shit from any of you. I used the bathroom really fucking bad, and I did not want to wait the 5 extra minutes. Fuck. So I don't want to hear shit. But yeah. I will be back. Enjoy the early 5-minute stream. Also, mods, if Slushy comes in here, VIP them. I haven't had the time to do that. Shut up, traffic. Okay, bye.
Reduced to just standing around. How absurd.
I have a question. It might seem strange. How are your lungs? Are they in pain? 'Cause mine are aching. Think I know why. I kinda like it though. You wanna try? Oh, would you be so kind as to fall in love with me? You see, I'm trying. I know you know that I like you, but that's not enough. So if you will, please fall in love. I think it's only fair. There's gotta be some butterflies somewhere I wanna share. 'Cause I like you, but that's not enough. So if you will, please fall in love with me. Let's write a story. Be in my book. You've gotta join me on my page. At least take a look. Oh, I am matters. You need some time. Let's swap chests today. That might help you decide. Oh, would you be so kind as to fall in love with me? You see, I'm trying. I know you know that I like you, but that's not enough. So if you will, please fall in love. I think it's only fair. There's gotta be some butterflies somewhere I wanna share. 'Cause I like you, but that's not enough. So if you will, please fall in love with me. Oh, would you be so kind as to fall in love with me? You see, I'm trying. I know you know that I like you, but that's not enough. So if you will, please fall in love. I think it's only fair. There's gotta be some
The damned will sooner die again than lay a hand on me.
Doesn't look like it. Give a fuck that the music's too loud. I was just got to invite the fucking fly. Not bad. Putting on a jacket because I'm really just vibing comfy clothes. Whoops. Give me a second. I have to do streamer shit and actually post this everywhere. Also, I will say this. Thank you, Ray, for the name idea, or for the title name. Ow! Ow! That's not something I thought I would see. There it is. There's a...
Those memories are so dark.
Alright, cool. Never mind. Sorry, I just saw a shit ton of Discord notifications from something I'm a part of and got very concerned. Hi. Ignore why I'm here. Hee. You can already tell. Shut the fuck up, religion. I have a paper cup with a coffee lid on because that's what fits in our school. Whoa. Okay. Never the fuck mind. You know the drill. I pulled the wrong thing. I did the test runs. Yes. Let's act this shit. Ah! Oh no. Oh no. God damn it. Wow. Huh. At least it's Chi-Chi. Of course I lose a 50-50 to him. Holy shit. I'm pretty sure that was like 40 something pity. Hi, Hesa. When I tell you, I almost fucking lost my shit. I almost lost my shit. Why you gotta do me like that, game? I didn't make a scene. I have not gotten a single Layla. Bro, give me the sleepy college student, please. I'll take it, Hazo. Damn. Damn. Shit. Oh, I didn't start. I don't have a scene for this. Okay. This will work. Welcome to the other stream shit. For a second I heard a noise and I was like, oh, it's the cat. She's not fucking here. I'm like so scared my like information's gonna get fucking leaked. We're starting off shitty. I'm here. You wanna hear some shit? I already lost 50-50. Fucking Chi-Chi showed up. I'm telling you with my full chest, I already lost 50-50. First handful, bitch showed up. So it's time for well noises. I have so many goddamn scenes. Also, give me just a very hot second. I was just told my mom didn't have permission to do this. Ah. There we go. I also have not gotten a Layla. I've gotten everyone else but her and a child. I don't even know what pity this is. It's like 40 something pity. Ow! This game hates me, fuck! Leave! Leave! Oh, also, Bestie, you missed it. They served hamburgers today. Don't. He does love me! This bitch doesn't leave me alone! Also, welcome to the VIP club. Good sir, I asked for one sleepy college student and a ginger. That's all I asked for in life. There he is. There he is. There's the boy. But you see, I want sleepy college. My baby. Oh, shit, wrong scene. Actually, this works. Never mind, it does not. Full face cam stream. Never mind. I have so many unnecessary scenes that I made. I'm not trying to have my credit card information leaked. Fuck that shit. Place your bets. Is my bank going to text me? Surprisingly not. I have eight, where'd it go? There it is. I have 8,000 Primo Gems to my name. I want sleepy college student. There she is! Sleepy college student. There she is.
How did I do that?
I love the sleepwalking. It's so cute. Oh, hi. Hi there. Good sir, please. Good sir. Good sir, please. Good sir. Good sir. Fuck the bell. The bitch can have it. Ah! Hey, that feels like a slap in the face. I'm one off. My god.
Reduced to just standing around.
There he is. Now he's C6. Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. Look at him. Look at his cold, dead eyes. It's dead eye. He dead ass got the dead eyed.
You know, there are better ways to seek out our enemies than, well, standing here.
Wait, no.
The world looks glorious in the snow. Pure white, like the light of the moon. A perfect backdrop for bloodshed.
When I tell you the first time I heard this line, I was like, oh, that's sweet. Oh!
Eating delicious food really has
Wait.
a way of, I'll admit
Not the
taste
laugh.
surprises
Not
you
the
a bit.
bitter laugh.
Okay, I'll try one more bite.
I will admit, he has one of my most favorite backstories. Which is like,
I could get used to this. No time to lose.
oh my god, is he the only one who has both a deploying and a sprint voice line?
Death looms. My time to shine. What's the matter? Out of practice? Step aside. It's my turn.
He got the epic lore. He does. Honestly. How many do I have? That's, I didn't even mean to click on that. Yeah, let's not do that.
Oh, I feel like I've gotten stronger. Now who shall I use as my guinea pig?
Hey, yo! Oh! Oh no! That does not fit him whatsoever, but we'll see if I get his signature.
Why do I have to write so many papers? Why?
I just hit my foot on my desk. Ow.
My legs are so sore. Guess I must have been sleepwalking last night.
I feel so bad for this voice actress. Because apparently I've heard,
This is amazing.
because I heard doing this
I'm
voice
so
hurt her,
jealous. You're good at everything.
and I'm just like, damn.
It's rhythm. Maybe
maybe we should just grab some takeout.
Jesus Christ.
I'm going to turn in early tonight. Hope I can. Sweet sleep. I'm sorry, Professor. This is just a dream. Wake up. You look half asleep. Oh no, you're hurt.
It's also funny because if you look at her thing, I love her if she had short hair, not gonna lie. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Or was it it was a Harbinger. Nope, it's this weapon they give her. Also, I think it's fucking, they built her as a DPS in her thing. But I do love her little elf ears. Yeah, if they had her hair like the same length all around, I think I'd like it more.
Okay. Get it together, Layla. You've got to work harder.
I literally just got a DM saying Australia. Really? The fuck? Oh, god damn it. She's also part of the I can't level up because I need these for other bitches. Also, yeah, I will go slap the shit out of that, man. Time to spend more money! Taking it. Disappeared. I also did not realize Atlas was the last person who actually followed my name. Not my main, my fucking ult. I'm surprised my bank's not calling me. But we're not gonna question it. And we back. No, I'm not using these. Those are the Scaramouche funds. Ow! I hit my wrist. I hit my wrist in like the worst place to hit my wrist. Welcome back to the weapon banner's a fucking scam. Oh, hi, Saeed. I'll take it. Please, please, please. The fox woman needs her weapon. Imagine rolling in the weapon banner couldn't be me. Genshin Impact is Ohio. Changed my mind. It is. It is. Like, I love this game, but I have so much more. I bitch about this game so often. It's because they're fucking colorist. Hallelujah! Oh, hey, Rosaria. I'll take you too. Why not? The fox woman gets her shit. Goodbye. I got 9,000 primo gems to my name. Scaramouche can get it. Lucky. Your luck makes me so bitter. Scare better be kind. No! Literally! I just lost my 50-50 to Chi-Chi. Lucky this time. Nah. I was like, let's roll. Sees Gold Star continue. Loses mind for a hot second. I was like, god damn it. If I win this 50 fucking 50, and Slushy is not here, I'm losing my goddamn mind. Okay, so I recently found out her artifact set. And it is a 2-piece Thundering, and then it is a 2-piece Shinawa. Ignore her fucking... I know she got the purple. But also, she could also use these. Which I was like, that's interesting. But yeah. Time to go do some sacrificing of some artifacts. I did my job! That is the second time I almost yeeted this man off a cliff. I mean, I'll take the wood. I do need it. Oh, that's right. Fucking Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi and Rosaria. She's still one of the only few bitches I don't have C6. Layla's vibing with the C0. But I mean, I'll take Chi-Chi getting constellations over anything else. These are the only 2 bitches that will never ever be leveled and or built. I'm sorry, I don't like them. Who else? Who else? Oh, it's just the fact that they're new? Yeah. I know, I need to build characters. Poor Toma. This man gets jail time. He stays in jail. He ain't getting shit out of me. Also, ignore. Also, I cut the shit out of my ankle when I was shaving. So, if you come back and see my ass limping, don't worry about it. Don't question it. You son of a bitch! I'm so sorry with everyone with headphones in. God, son of a fuck ass, motherfucking ass bitch. God damn it. Ow. Toma and Dory are stuck in baby jail. They ain't never leaving. They are stuck in there. They don't get to leave. What the fuck did I come here for? I came here for something. Oh, that's right, sacrifice. I'll take that one piece. This face is taking my whole... I saw the original. Like, okay, no. I saw fan art before I saw the original, and I had no idea what the fuck they were talking about until fucking, like, Ray explained it to me. I, like, didn't understand it. I was like, oh, this must be, like, some like, bullshit. It's like, no. Again, this is why you do not download games from third-party servers. Because apparently there's lore, and it has backtracked it to Ayato. It has gone to Ayato, Raiden, and Ito. But I think it's hilarious that it's all Inazuma people. I was so confused for like the longest time. I was like, what the fuck are people talking about faceless Ayato? And then I found out what it was, and I went, oh shit. Ah, fuck. Oh, but I'm not telling you. My wrist now hurts from when I slapped it. That hurt. NPCs don't have emotions. They really don't. Oh, you're fucking lying to me. That is a different fucking thing. I still have to do this. I've done that. Did all of these. Never noticed it made that sound. That's just a nice ass sound. That just tickles a part of my brain. But okay. Wait, hold up. We gotta update the Google Doc. Makes that sound. I have to update. We have to update the Google Doc of my failure. No, but I also fucking love looking. Where the fuck is it? There it is. It was literally the 5th fucking thing. God damn it, child, you make me lose a 50-50. God damn it, child, you broke the streak. I literally just spelled his name wrong. Don't question that. Lost a 50-50. That's a 5-star. And Miko. I put Kiko. I fucking put Kiko again. I can't type today. Hey, don't blame my boy. I'm blaming your boy. I'm blaming your boy. I would have gotten an early pity too. I would have gotten an early pity. But no, he decided to be a bitch and sent me a fucking Chi-Chi. I should have sacrificed Zhongli. I should have sacrificed Zhongli off a cliff. Ah! Hi, Liam. Thanks for scaring the shit out of me. Sorry. Sorry, I had the Critical Role podcast pulled open because I was talking with my DM and I like listening to Critical Role in the background. And yeah. But I have a goal. There's actually gonna stuff happen today. I have a goal to get level 40 on the Sakura tree, which means I'm going to run around Inazuma like a psychopath. But I'm also gonna be farming for Scaramouche because he requests things. I like to fuck with Paimon. Yes. No, okay, so if you have PS5 and you blow on the controller, like, she actually, like, moves around. She's like, it got really windy. I'm like, no, bitch, we're just fucking around with God. I don't get primos over there. Why am I even going over there? I have a really low exploration here, so I might as well come look over here. But yeah, no, fuck Paimon. I hate how she's just getting progressively more crueler. Why our characters can't swim. I mean, every character in this game can plunge, except for Child and soon-to-be Scaramouche. They can't plunge for shit. Hold that for me.
Emerge right now.
Woo!
Useless. Access denied.
Ow, you bitch! I just came here for the chest! Actually, you'll also drop what I need. What the plunge to, I'm betting. What, the every character can swim except for Scaramouche and Child because they can't plunge? Which, I'm not surprised Scaramouche can't, because this motherfucker just has plunge damage. Or not plunge damage, this motherfucker just flies. If you're wondering why I'm switching to Kokomi for swimming, she has a 20-something decrease of swimming stamina. I see you, and I do not wish to be fucked by you, so please, leave me the fuck alone. I've done this already. The bad thing about doing all, like, the main quests in this godforsaken game is that I'll be like, huh, is there anything I haven't done? And they'll be like, yeah. Yep, I have done this. Also, fun fact, Scaramouche comes out on my birthday, which I won't be for here the day or after. I see you, and I don't wish to get fucked by you, 2022. Ah yes, my greatest accomplishments. Once again, I think I'm fucking hilarious because I'm ace yet again. I say the most out-of-pocket shit. No! Please! You bitch! You whore! You bitch! You cunt! You motherfucker! I hate you! I hate you and your children! I wish your children will never be fucking born! Where the fuck did the thing go I was seeing? Gonna make him want to pull him. Don't cave. Don't cave. Gotta be honest, didn't think that would work.
Why would anyone want?
What? Forget it.
It's not my
My
concern.
concern. I hate that I know this man's lines. I hate that I know this man's lines. Yes, I saw the chest. I know where it is. Post this a quote. Please do. No, it's a fact. It's a fact that we've been saying out-of-pocket shit recently. Oh boy. Oh buddy, friend, pal.
Emerge right now.
Test subject. Why the fuck did that echo? Oh, hey, there's another chest. Oh, we're about to have a fun time.
No touching. Right here. Emerge.
Shut up. Don't care. Why'd I jump?
We're way born of ice and frost.
There's quality here.
Never gonna forget that Ayato basically insults us, being like, oh, you collect these? Yes, motherfucker. I'm poor, unlike you, rich boy.
Right now. Emerge.
You see, you're not the cute, cuddly boy
Touching.
who, you know, made me almost bawl my eyes out, so I have no, reserve anymore. See, I'm a college student that the school can't fucking get rid of. Because I'm the only one in their major now. Go to sleep. What the fuck? Oh, fuck you, game.
No touching. Right here. Right now. Right here. Hold the line.
Yeah, you get the full arsenal, bitch. Bro, I forgot to attack. Bro just said I'm respawning. Bro hit the respawn.
If it's useful,
I'll take it. Still so angry at myself. I know half this man's line, most of this man's lines. Jesus Christ. No, never forget the day I was like walking around. I was like, why do we hear running water? Waterfall. I will never forget that day after I played. Okay, cool. I have done you already. I don't even care. I'll take you. Why do people think only spiders in Charlotte is buried? Because we are uncultured. Because you... Oh, I forgot I had those. No, I need a couple more. Because we are stupid Americans. Also, hey, Mahoyoverse, can we have a standard... Can we have a standard Geo polearm user from Inazuma, please? Thank you very much. Now me. Oh my god. I read that wrong and I was like, wait, no. Ray's not Danny, Odeon, and Nick. That's Wayward. And then I proceeded to remember. Nick's a fucking sweetheart. Take an angel by the way. Okay. Remember the day I literally just figured this out on a whim? Damn. Now it moves. Okay. Nice. Okay. Oh, fuck me. Okay, never mind. Did you light up? No. Did you light up? Okay. Puzzles. I love and dislike puzzles in this game. Look at my clanky boy. Alright. You lit up. I gotta go. Bye! Bye, Slushy! Absolutely the fuck not. I'm not doing that bullshit. Absolutely the fuck not. That involves some east, south, west bullshit and then math. Good sir, I'm a dumbass. I go to an art school. I'm not good with math. So we're just gonna figure this out as we go, as I do
Damned will
normally.
sooner
Shut
die
the
again
fuck up.
than lay a hand on me.
I love you, but I listen to this. No one lays a hand on me or they fucking suffer bullshit. Some random. Oh my god. My god. Yeah, no, absolutely not. I'll do that one later. Hello, what are you? I've already done you. That's something I haven't done.
Let's get down to business.
Emerge. Right now.
Useless. Evil conquering. Here. Worthless.
Perhaps whoever left these behind
Oh my god.
also
I'm
fulfilling
filling
a
a
contract.
contract. Okay. Just go peacefully. 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 God damn. Shit. Okay. Fuck me. How far can I push this? How far can I bring this? Okay. And there you go. That's how you do these puzzles.
There's quality here.
Air turning into seagull for a second. Fuck. Okay. How many do I have? I need 8 fucking more. It's either that or I need 5. Which is gonna be annoying. Unless, no, because if I go through, no, I was thinking about Primo Gems. If I go through the death, that's a chest. Do not drop my happy ass there, or else I will gently commit a fucking crime. Why? Leave my happy ass alone! Keep. Don't you dare. Don't you fucking... You bitch! You bitch! No! Please! Please! I'm just a poor boy! I'm just a silhouette of a man! I don't like how there's a single... I don't like how this is a single mint. V, long time no see. Hi, I no longer go by V, I go by Run now, but hi Jolly, nice to see you. How are you been doing? How are you? I haven't seen you in a while. But also, I haven't been here for a while. College kind of snapped my neck and said you are not going to be streaming for a while. Go to sleep. Go to sleep peacefully. Get in the water. Hey, thanks, buddy.
Emerge. Right now. Right here.
Ow. My college fucked me to this semester. Enjoy lifetime. Oh yeah, no, like I'm technically on like my break. I literally only have to go to one class, which is the class I need to go to. My professor was like, "Oh, you don't need to come here, you bitch." Shower for love, fuck it on the ladder. And then my professor goes, "Yeah, technically you have to show up to class," and I went, "You bitch."
Emerge. Right now. Right here. Born of ice and frost. Allow me.
No! This game hates me. Ah! I'm under it. Hell, I can't move. There we go.
Come on.
That's gonna hurt me in the long run. Now I can't play against it. I know. Oh no! Alright, that's one down. No, because I think he's still very much alive, unless Miko's turrets killed him. No. Oh, no.
Beautiful. Rest and rebuild.
Just gonna heal him real fast. But you know, also I just had a bunch of other shit happen, because fuck, I'm very tempted to go in there. But I'm not going to. But yeah, fuck October. I don't know a single person who had a good October. Other than like the occasional like, oh, you had an amazing Halloween type shit. I'm in the middle of fucking nowhere. Well, oh, fuck October. When I tell you that October beat the ever, like, no, I love October. It's like one of like my favorite things, cause it's like, oh, you get like the seasons changing in the fall. But fuck this, because I have never gone through so much shit back to back to back in the span of a couple of weeks that I was like, yeah, I'm ready to end it all. I never realized you said that. I always thought you said that for something else. But yeah, fuck October. Fuck it. You're decided to take my and then keep it for the October looked at me. October, it's that TikTok audio where it was like where it's like God decided to give me, and they'll be like, God decided to give me character development and be like, oh, what's up? What's a good thing? Like, it's nothing personal. Bitch, nothing personal? I want to kill myself. The fuck do you mean nothing personal? I'm I'm pretty sure I missed like half of those. It's like, good, sure, you can keep the energy. I just want to go home. I want to go home to my family. I can't find the fucking other 3. Good sir, where are the rest? Where are the bots? Oh, you bitch! Oh, hey. No, please, please. Where's the last one? Where's the last one? I got 7 seconds. Where the fuck is the last one? Ow! I saw it. I think I was supposed to go the other way. Is this in Azuma? Man, I want to play the game, but I can't till I get my laptop. Yeah, this is in Azuma. This is the, second, this is, Watsutisumi Island. I can't say that right sometimes. Yeah, no, we're gonna go the other way. I didn't grab the fucking electro thing. No, it's fine. No, okay. Maybe that was a bad idea. I need to get to level my Toma. Fuck Toma. Toma's never leaving purgatory. This man has caused me nothing but pain. Still, because I don't have power. Motherfucker just lives here. I actually do need to go here because he has a drop I need. No, Toma's one of my favorites. That man ain't never leaving. Now you might be asking, oh, why is he never leaving? Because this motherfucker has, I think it's like C fucking 30. I know the challenge failed. I was a dumbass. How good is he? He is one of the best 4-star supports for both, He's one of the best support / DPS characters. Because he works with most, if not all, team comps. Like, everyone complains about his C4 or his, like, C6. But I have not met many people who've had, like, problems with it, who use, like, certain characters. Fuck. Fuck. Thank you. Please. Holla fucking Luya.
Why would anyone want
2 more. Highest constellation I have is Beta C3. Oh yeah, I'm never doing that again. I have a lot of characters at C6, but it's just, I think it's Layla who's new Cryo Shield, which, I like Layla. I think she's a very pretty. Soma, Beto, Tenari, Barbara, and my main squad right now. That's actually a pretty good team. That's a really good team. Cause you get a lot of reactions. Goddamn C6 spend money on this game. Oh, okay. Yes, I do. Where the fuck did the Sealy go? I looked at chat. Listen, I'm a moderate spender. Like, I'm not a whale. I don't have any character at C6. Like, I'm not gonna blow, like, thousands of dollars on this game. But I have spent a couple $100 on this game. Our reactions are good. They honestly are. Cause you... Bitch. You fucking bitch. At least you're not Electro Sealy. I fucking hate Electro Sealys in this game. Where?
day.
Ah, sucking, fucking. Land! Time to go!
Useful, I'll take it.
No, fuck you. Fuck you and your mother. Fuck you and your poor excuse of a mother. What is she? A hoe. Jesus, I have done that without him. Leave like this. Fuck you and your non-existent mother. Why are you here? Because you got banished. Where's your mother? Probably dead. Do you have child? Gotta scroll through. Yes. He just came home. I may or may not have lost my 50-50 to Chi-Chi. It's not that always happens. It's because it's like the easier way. You don't have to add an E at the end. Ah, yes, you mean the dead-eyed motherfucker? I also got glow stick. Which, again, I have so many problems with her character design, but her personality makes up for it to some degree. But also then we have this motherfucker. We have Sino, who's best boy, who I need to build. Uh-huh. Nah, I lost his 50-50 to Chi-Chi literally in the first 10 pull. You just hear a screech on my end of just being like, oh, oh, oh no. Where the fuck did it go? I saw it. Oh. You bitch. You're not even the relay stone. Big boy. Big boy. Can I get some electro action out of this, please? No, fuck. If I had electro, that'd be easy. I literally just need 2 more, and I officially like leveled up the fucking the tree to 40. That's all I want. Ooh, wait, pretty design. Is that say I was about to there it is. I was about to say, oh yeah, I can just head to I can head to Sumeru. And you know, do that. But no, I can't. I have to stay here to get that fucking thing. This was on my list today. This was on my list. And then I'm gonna go farm for Scaramouche because I have his items. Funny enough. Hey. You bitch. Where the fuck are the rest? Where the fuck are the other 3? 4. Where are they? There they are. I'm gonna run out of stamina. Where's the last one? Where's the last one? No. How much you want to bet? It's up there somewhere. No. Huh. Normal mint. And none, wait, none of you are the... None are you are what I, oh no. Oh no, you're fucking lying to me. Oh no. Oh no. Fuck. Thank you for inviting me, but I'm gonna head out. No thank you. Fuck you and your mama. There's like my normal pearl farming area. Ah, the fun I used to have swimming in there. But now I can't. I do it on my lower friends' stuff. Might as well. Might as well fuck around and find out. Also, I mentioned this on my Twitter. By the way, if Twitter goes down to a shit show, I'm semi-active on Discord. I will be for like this entire week. Except for like very early morning Tuesday. Because stupidly my teacher decided for us to have a class, even though no other classes are going on. Whatever. I'm literally just go right back to sleep. But yeah. I'll also be doing a lot more longer streams. So we just gonna vibe today. Good sir, please, I need a chest. Good sir, God. I also do. Was school out nowhere? I'm not technically out, I'm just on Thanksgiving break, but since a lot of my teachers like, yeah, I don't want to deal with your shit, I practically don't have to go to class for a full week. Oh yeah, I already did that. There's some puzzles I look at in this game and I'm just like, did I do that? Yes. Are these somehow all like, why the fuck are these all 90 something? Why the fuck are you two even? Well, time to explore this area. Again, the fucking music this game has is This game has one of like my favorite soundtracks, and I need to add some of their songs to my playlist, especially Port Omos. Cause that song can fucking get it. Just makes me want to play more. I'm so sorry. You don't see me. You don't see me. I'm not an enemy of the Shogun. What the fuck? Who? Huh? What? Why? I had that shit on repeat. No. When I got it from my teapot, because you can find the disc to play them in the teapot, you bet your ass it's on replay. I love that one. It hits so hard. Yeah. Come find me once you're ready. Belbazaur is like her arc. Legit, when I first heard it, I was like, why though? But I love it. Why? Now, I have 3 questions. First, use a comment of the joke in the first part of an organization in charge of Inazuma. 10 retribution? Law and Order affair. See, I just bullshit that. See, I bullshit that. No, dude, it's because I'm fucking obsessed with the lore. The game lore got me in a chokehold. Oh, shit. Oh my god. How the fuck did I never know? Hey, yo, someone slap me with the electro real fast. Where's a fucking electro stealing? We need one. Hey, oh. Oh, hey. Hey. Okay, fuck it. It's right there. Oh, hello. I'm in the middle of something.
No touch.
Ow, you bitch.
Now you pay attention. Emerge. Hold the line. Right here. Emerge.
If it's useful, I'll...
Again, I'm gonna say this because I've said this enough times in my life. I will defend mostly every single department of Genshin except for the character creations for the main characters or for the playable characters. I want to have a very strong word with you fucks. Oh my god.
Emerge. Right now.
Cause there's no way in hell you have these fantastically designed NPCs that I love, adore, very much dear and close to my heart. Like the NPCs, I love them to death. But how the fuck are you gonna fuck up this badly with the playable characters? How the fuck does he already have that back?
If it's useful, I'll take it.
How many we got? We got 26. I'm pretty sure it's 25 here. But I'm gonna go check. Because if I get to level 40, I get the teapot. Because it's like... Okay, we're gonna go see my favorite character to go bitch about, but I also love her dearly. First of all, how the fuck is she gonna be the only character that you change from her original root to Latin? Cause her original name is Kandake, but they changed it to the Latin version, which is Candace, which pisses me off to no end. Also, why is she so fucking light? She is so light when she should be dark because she has a deeper history of when she has a very dark skin. Like again, I think her design is really pretty. But if she was a darker skin tone, which you can see multiple mods have allowed her to be, she looks a lot better. A lot of the Sumeru characters look better with dark skin. Like, how the fuck do you have a glow stick for your nation that is supposed to have, like, a rich culture? And there's an ambulance driving by and doors across from me, so bingo really got intense. Sorry, completely off topic. And it's like, how are you only going to allow there to be... Actually, let me pull up the character archive. 1, 2, 3, 4. How are you going to allow there to only be 4 people of color in your game? Like, you cannot do that. Especially when these aren't even dark skin. They have a fucking tan. I just have a lot to say about that. But I know it's a Chinese company, but again, there's other Chinese companies like Dialight. It just blows my fucking mind. No! Where did it go? Where did it go? Good sir, I did not work my ass off for it to disappear. Where the fuck did it go?
Reduced to just standing around. How absurd.
Oh, I didn't fucking claim it. That makes sense. Yes! 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 Yes!
Would you care to sit down?
Yes! I want to see what the fuck this looks like. I did not waste so much time. Oh! Wait, I want to see what the inside looks like. Oh, I love the doors. See, this is where I would throw Toma. Holy shit, big ass room. Surprisingly, I'm actually not a huge fan of the layout. Holy shit. Y'all want to go on an adventure of exploring this real fast? There he is. We're gonna go on an adventure. Because it looks like I'm in a fucking painting. But I'm also pretty sure this doesn't have a day and night cycle. Oh, no, it does. Yeah, this just looks like I'm in a fucking painting. See? Like, look at the fucking... Look at the water! Look at it! This poor teapot spirit must be like, what the hell are they doing? Like, oh my gosh, it's so gorgeous. Hey, yo, the music also do be hitting. Cause it's like you can play so much with this like landscape. I love it. But sorry, the Sumeru one got me in a chokehold. I'm gonna be honest. That one got me in a chokehold. Cause the fucking Sumeru one screams Pixie Hollow
Try to
bitches.
sit down.
This one I will get at the very last minute. Switch.
Would you care to sit?
I was about to say, I probably don't have anything to make like half the shit I need to make. So never mind, I guess.
If you ever have any.
Ah, fuck. I dropped my cup. See? This song just makes me want to do a little jig. Like, this song just makes me want to do a little dance. Hi, my boy. Females don't do it as well. I'm so sorry. This man's suffering. Tanari's just suffering in here.
Hello there. I can hear you coming from miles away.
Ah, yes, I put Ellie and Koi in the same room as each other. The chaotic energy.
You aren't asleep yet?
No.
If you're still awake at this hour, then how about I borrow you as my research assistant?
It fucks so hard! I just popped my neck. That kind of hurt like a bitch. Also... I can never unlock this disc because it's level 69, and I promised myself I would never do that to myself. So I would have to be really drunk and or higher than I already am to do that. But yeah, I have one spot reserved, and that is reserved for Scaramouche just so that I can bully him by putting him in the same room as another artificial life, the one man he fucking sniped, and then chow. Sorry, like 50 Discord notifications just came rushing in. And then we also have, Kazuha. And then we have Heizo. And then his mother's right outside. This motherfucker's gonna have a bad time. And I'm gonna torture him for all this. I'm so sorry, roommate. I'm stealing your last water. I swear I will refresh them. I'm not going to. Like, it goes so unnecessarily fucking hard. Okay. Now we're back onto the Scaramouche, like, build. Shit. There's a bunch of asphagnus. Ow, fuck, a whole water. Oh, God. Oh, fuck. Body just had a stroke for a second. Oh, my throat had a stroke for a second. Also, me and Ray were talking, and Ray was like, how come like you haven't gotten noticed by like anything? And I looked her dead in the eye and I said, because, bestie, as much as I love the game, I'm pretty sure I've actively pissed off someone. I didn't mean to press on that. I also, okay, the Dendra cube is now one of my other hated cube, and you're going to have to force me to build Nahida for it. Game, don't make me a liar. I promise there's a shit ton of fungus you can find here. I was right. And another disc. The hell happened here? I keep fucking pressing. This game is making me out to be a liar and I hate it. Cause I said here you can farm for Skara to get its mushrooms, and you can. They're just not showing up here. Actually, ooh, wait, I can pull out Tighnari for this. My boy gets to come out of purgatory for a little bit. I also love how I've filled up every single one of these panels. Why? Because I'm a little bit of a goofball. So yeah, I have this team. Actually, fuck it.
Let's go out and play.
I need to figure out.
Nice.
I need to figure out not a first person, another person to put on this team. As it goes, main, sub, off-field, and then healer/shield. So I need someone who does off-field damage. I could put Tighnari in here. I'll have to see. Because I also need to get, like, the good elemental reaction. I meant to fucking put Tighnari. I swear to God. I'm under the influence, but I'm not under the
I'll lead
influence
the way.
of fucking alcohol. My God. See, I'm not a fucking liar. But also, I think Tighnari's just pretty neat. I think he's a pretty neat fellow. I love his voice actor. Even though, yes, I know he did stupid things. Hell yeah. Stick an angel by the ring. I actually need these. Hold up. I actually need these lotuses. Thank you, Tighnari, for being a godsend. Oh yeah, absolutely the fuck not if you think I'm going up there. Absolutely not. If you're wondering I'm not going up there, that's where the fucking, the Electro Hyper fucking bitchy boy is at. And fuck that guy. I hate that motherfucker more than I hate Scaramouche. Than I hate his boss. I actually love his boss. That is like the one flower I need to fucking punch in the face. Hello, do you have any mushrooms? No, but you do got hilly trolls. Son of a fucking... I don't know why I keep accidentally hitting G. You are making me out to be a liar. Oh, hey, but there's a chest. Oh shit, never mind. I'm not a liar. They're just partially also on the ground. Why are they so big?
Emerge. Right now. Emerge.
Fuck the forest. Fuck the forest. Fuck the forest. Did I fucking miss one? What? Oh, with the forest. Fuck the forest. If you understand where that's from, I fucking appreciate you. Stay. Please don't lead me to where I think you're gonna lead me. Please don't take me where I think you're gonna lead me. Please don't take... abort! Abort! Abort the mission! Good sir, I came here for fucking farming. I didn't come here to deal with everything else. Please leave me alone. Get off my dick.
Smells like something good is inside.
I forgot he does a little sniff during that. What the forest? Fuck the forest! I love that. Fucking love saying it.
Keep up.
I am, you bitch! Okay, how many do I have? Cause I can't go fucking artifact hunting until later. And I hate the fucking, hate the other one too much. Oh no. I need to get more of those. I'm actually really mad these got changed. Also, if you're ever playing and you're wondering like why they changed some shit, I don't know. Oh god, I'm not even halfway fucking there. Why do I only have 69 cabbage? Why do I only have 95 cabbages? What happened to my cabbages? Did I make a hunt the desert for a while? Eh. Quickly, quickly, gather them. Yeet. Cool. We were not noticed. Hallelujah. I swear I'm not a liar. See, I swear I'm not a liar. This game just lives to forsake me. But also, I live despite it anyway, so. Sorry. Shut the fuck up, refrigerator. Just take an angel by the wing. But I was in a full house. 20 years of staring at the sea, and I could think about just staring at the bottom.
Can't see.
Okay, once again, we're streaming, and it looks like old people got into a very intense Uno game.
Boring.
Okay, but there is genuinely like other characters I do need to build for. Like I need to build for Tanari and stuff. Because I think he has the bare minimum of artifacts. See, I feel so bad for these type of characters because I will just throw the most nonsensical fucking artifacts at them. And I'll just be like, I swear I care. But, and then you'll have characters that are like partially built. I need to get him also a better set. Yeah, poor Ayaka having this poor defense cup. Yeah, I was like, I think I'll only give this her because it has good crit rate. Okay. I might as well do this really quickly. That was a crowd
Time
character.
to begin work?
Hey, but if I get gilded stuff, or no, it's tenacity I need for Layla. Yes, I have builds for some of my most of the characters. Shut up.
You are not welcome here.
Right now, emerge. Hold the line.
Let's end this now.
Useless.
Lament. Get out of my way. Here. Worthless.
I'm getting sick.
Worthless.
Born of ice and frost. Right here, right now. Emerge. Press to rebuild.
Oh no, I live to do that. I live to test people's patience. You should see my school right now. They fucking hate my ass.
Access denied.
Let's end this now.
There we go.
Born of ice and frost. Right here, right now. Emerge. Allow me.
Useless.
Access denied.
I was like, the fire's gonna finish her off. that hurt.
Next up.
I'm also really close to leveling up to AR-55. So this is just going to be an experience in itself.
You are not
Born of
welcome
Ice.
here.
Hold the line. Right here. Emerge. Right now.
Disappear.
Alright, everyone, get in a circle. Get together. Ah, yes, welcome back.
Now you're testing my patience.
Oh, I live for that, bestie. There's not a single person in my life I don't think I have never tested their patience.
Right here. Allow me.
Welcome to the party, bitch.
All hail. Let the white. No touching.
Lament. Worthless. Here. Worthless. Worthless.
Shao doing unnecessary damage for being only like partially fucking built. Alright, time to go fucking slap scare Musha's shit around for a little bit. I'm sorry, the fucking what? The fucking what? The fucking what? Oh. Oh, you fucks move. Okay. I'll fucking take it. I'm honestly surprised that, like... I was like, it straight up just looks like she's reading, like, a fanfic. Oh, cool. Fucking... Oh! Okay!
Emerge. Right here.
Oh, fuck yeah, I'm doing this. This is like the perfect Kazuha setup.
Emerge. Right here. Rest and rebuild.
every time my brain like hears running water in this game. They're like, I wonder where there's running water. And it's just like, looks around. Time to go slap some Scaramouche's boss. I don't even know how many more times. Hold up. Let me do some math. Let me do some character math. I think I have 19 of those. I have 19. And how many do I need? Like 100 something? Yes, I have a fucking screenshot. That is how determined I am for this shit. I need 46. I am so far away and I have a little less than a month. I also need 18 ball joints. Ooh, I can level him up going easy. Cause you need 18, 30, and 36. And then I have 3 crowns so I can triple crown him. I think I just need more of the Animo. So I'm probably gonna have to go slap the Animo cube around. Which I do not mind. Cause all I gotta think about is the sand in the bottom. And I wish they could bury me.
We're way behind schedule.
I know the fuck we are not. We are not behind schedule. We are literally right on cue. Please have enough gliding. Hey, buddy.
Access denied. Emerge right now.
Oh, shit. And he's already down. Yeah, if you want an easy way how to, like, combat this guy, literally just shoot for the wings. And he goes down.
Born of ice and emerge right here, right now. Hold the line. Next on the agenda.
Also, the Subaru, like, battling music fucking hits. Ooh. And this motherfucker hates me.
No touching.
Nah, go back down.
Right now. Emerge right now. Access denied. Next on the agenda.
So easy. Oh shit. Oh shit. God damn. I don't even care for the defense and HP. Because that could work for squishy characters like Ganyu. I'm pretty sure she has like, Ganyu is like one of my like worst, is like my worst defending character. I do need to give her more crit rate. Yeah, she has very little defense and very little everything for being level 80. Darling, I need to get you better artifacts. Why have I not given you better artifacts? So I need to get you a new sands. I need to get you a new goblet. 100% I need to get this bitch a new goblet. Damn. She actually got good shit. And then there's fucking Xiao who doesn't. I need to get him, like, I think I need to get him better everything except for... No, I need to get him better everything. Except for this. This is actually pretty okay. Bestie. Why have I not been farming better for you?
Wanna cut my hair?
Yeah, sure. I'll be back. I love how that's the most randomest question, but also the one answer I'm always prepared for. There are my shears. damned. If I could run ads, I would have ran an ad. Oh damn, Aaron, there was no music? My bad. Aaron's live!
If you lie on the grass, you can feel the heartbeat of the world.
I love Ganya. Ah.
Next
But
on the
yeah, welcome to I did way too much of fucking Sumer's Expedition that I kinda now just vibe.
We're way behind schedule.
Shut the fuck up. Sorry, I'm getting text messages. Wait, didn't get shit.
Worthless.
Damn, not the worthless.
Right now.
I didn't use anything of Xiao's. Now we're about to. God damn. Xiao just unnecessarily crits.
Right here.
He does not have a good, like, crit rate thing. He just fucking said, fuck it, I'm here to piss things off. The fuck was that?
No touching. Right now. Right here. Emerge. Nothing lasts forever.
That strangely did some good damage.
Access denied. Next on the agenda. I'm a little low on energy.
I was just about to be like, let me pull out the heals.
Right here. Right now.
I frankly actually need to like build their weapons better.
We're way behind. Born of ice. Right here.
Yeah, everyone's like, you need a battery. I somehow made Xiao my battery. You bitch. Ooh. 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 Raiden actually got a new cup. Yes, too. Jesus Christ. God damn. Oh my god, wait. She still got the negative 85 crit rate. Jeez. At this point, I just have her built as a healer. But where is Raiden? Because I'm pretty sure she has a shitty ass cup now. Actually, I'm pretty sure both of them do. I don't even care if I get, like, no. Okay. Okay. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it. God damn it, Seal. I'm actually okay with this. Why does she have more voice lines?
Despite serving as my guard during this journey, you need not shield me from danger. The Shogun's constitution is rather robust, and in the event she does break down, we can simply get a replacement. In an emergency, just send her into the fray. The Inazuman arts of polearm and sword combat, as well as the blade
What happened?
itself, primarily originated with me. Since then, I'm fearful because of what I witnessed 500 years
What
ago.
the fuck happened?
Her demise and that thing. But if it were you, everyone would be safe. You would have saved the world. Just like I cherish the memories of everything in Inazuma. If you remember me, I'll live forever.
You now look like a mother. You know what? You now look like you're about to degrade me for getting a 99 on the test. You kept asking me to go shorter!
No, it was because I wanted like my eye, like I
was summoned to cut more hair. Oh my god. Bro, seal. Seal. Oh my god. They crawled out of the hole.
Come over and cut your hair. If you can fix it.
I got this shit. Hold up.
Wait, Leon. Hi, friend.
Hi. Friend of yours. We back. It's called Welcome to College. We cutting bangs. Oh yes, never forget I was called out by a fucking fortune cookie.
Fall back and await. Step aside.
And there we go. Oh. Ah. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, why you gotta make all of the characters overworked, sleepy people? Let me have my pin ship back. Let me have my pins back. Alright, let me go stab this thing one more time and then I'll do... And then I'll do other stuff.
Access denied. Emerge. Right now. Right here. Next on the agenda.
I'm hearing the lesbians have an existential crisis in the bathroom.
Right now. Right here.
Now your hair is also very shitty to cut. Bitch, I hit that wing. There we go. Fuck.
Emerge. Right here. Emerge. Hold the line. No touching. Next on the agenda. Right here. Right now. Useless. Forward.
Stay the fuck back down.
Useless. Access denied. Emerge. Right here. Right now. Press the reset. No touching.
Oh, I got something. Oh my god. How many Twitter notifications do I have? How many Twitter notifications do I have? 9. $17. $12. My God. What?
It's so nice to de-stress.
This quest, like, keeps showing up every time I'm here, but then disappears every time I, like, try to do it. It's weird. I'm pretty sure oh shit, hey. Could go slap Candace's boss around for a little bit. Yeah, friend. Actually, wait, I'm pretty sure there's an Aranara nearby that, like, sells fungus. The Aranara will never forget you. The Aranara fucking forget you 2 minutes later. Is it you? It's one of you fucks. I know you sell them. Interesting. Sorry, I just know something. I'm pretty sure this will bring me. I'm gonna try this. I'll come right back. But I want to see if the Arnar is like in the waking world first. Nope. Fuck. Alright, this will be the last thing I think because I just realized it's 9:30. And even though I want to do a long stream today, I'm kind of tired. Shit. Swear to God, there was one. I was about to be like, I don't think I have any more to give. Damn. I also have like barely any of the Arnara here. Swear to God, if I put a star here, Arnara does. Ah! Oh my God, I'm so angry. Oh my God, he fucking does. Thank you, I love you. Alright, cool. Goddamn. That's like however many days we've heard just random banging appearing from upstairs. But it's fine. The fresh merge is fucking. I'm kidding. Oh yeah. This is where I'm gonna end for today. Oh, that kind of hurt. Oh, fun fact, someone just went live. Oh, Shinobu's voice actress just went live. Let's go raid her. Yeah, let's... Whoops. Let's go. I love reading the voice actors for Genshin. I think it's so fun. There we go. Alright. Cool. Yeah. I won't be here tomorrow, because I don't stream Saturdays. You'll see me Sunday, probably. I don't know what the fuck I have planned, but we'll see. Yeah.